Cock-a-doodle-doo, viewers. It's 7 a.m. and Channel 4's Dawn Chorus of Calcio is back, bright and early, well, early anyway, to wish you a very good morning from today, the fair city of Florence. Now, another busy week of Gazzetta has brought together an hour of top thrills and spills that's guaranteed to keep those pesky yawns at bay. And to tell us more about it here, still in her gym jams, is Susie Campanale.
Coming up in this morning's Gazzetta, highlights from another dramatic week in Serie A as the title race heads towards a gripping climax. James rounds up all the week's big stories, including news of yet another positive drugs test. You have the opportunity to win a trip to Italy either in our Player of the Season or Goal of the Month competitions. All that, plus James meets up with the Italian national side as they look forward to this evening's potentially decisive World Cup qualifying clash in Georgia.
Thank you, Susie. Well, we begin the show today, of course, with round 32 of the season and this potentially decisive weekend of matches for this season's title race. Here's a look at the table. Roma there, you can see 5 points clear of Lazio and 6 of Juventus, with just 3 games to go and thus only 9 points to play for. Thus, if the leaders won last weekend and their rivals didn't, Roma would sew up that long-awaited third Scudetto. Exciting, no? Well, Roma were at home to Milan in a game that we'll be seeing shortly. Juventus, meanwhile, were up against Perugia at the Stadio delle Alpi in Turin. We begin, though, with Lazio, who were away to Inter in a game held, unusually enough, down in Bari, since Inter was serving a 2-match suspension from their San Siro stadium following that recent regrettable incident involving a stolen scooter. Well, our man, anyway, at the San Nicola is Mr. Gary Bloom.
Veron. Diego Simeone. Plenty of options here for Lazio. Veron. Came off Cirillo. And Poborski opts for the corner. Karol Poborski popping up on the right-hand side. Tino's offside, looking for the opening goal here. Crespo being tightly policed. Mihailovic with a corner. Simeone! Inter desperately lucky there. This is Veron, and the danger has not passed yet. Sinisa Mihailovic. And this time he's unable to test the goalkeeper, but Bellotta could do little when Simeone's header rattled against the crossbar from close range. Dalmat takes on Negro and breezes past him. Marco Taudeli's side hoping to secure a UEFA Cup place. And they're pressing for the opening goal with Dalmat about to take this corner kick now. Nesta. Nesta again. Jugovic! And now Inter have hit the crossbar. And it's a former Lazio player, Vladimir Jugovic, with just one Serie A goal this season. Veron. Poborski. Good block. Dino Baggio. Pancro did well to turn it back. This is Veron. Simeone! Great save by Bellotta. Diego Simeone, the former Inter midfielder, is denied by the former Lazio goalkeeper Marco Bellotta. Veron to take the corner. Crespo! Lazio hit the front just before half-time. Crespo also opened the scoring when Lazio beat Inter by 2-0 back in January. That is 24th league goal of the season. Dino Baggio. Simeone. Poborski. Good possession here. Claudio Lopez. Veron. Claudio Lopez tried to win it. One back by Simeone. Now, where's he going? Oh, they've given it away to Poborski. Oh, and he's put it wide. What a chance there for Karol Poborski. Lovely turn there by Rakoba. Hakan Suker available. He'll have to retrieve the ball. Zanetti. And it's going to be a free kick to Inter in the dying moments of this football match. And a yellow card here for Pancro for that desperate lunge. This game has regularly ended level at one apiece. Can Inter find an equalising goal right at the death now? It'll be Recoba to take the free kick. Delma. Oh, they've got the equalising goal in the 92nd minute. Extraordinary. Delma scores only his second goal since his January move from Paris Saint-Germain. He was completely unmarked. What were Lazio thinking about? And they've had a victory snatched away from them. It's Inter 1, Lazio 1.
Well, how about that for a turn-up then, viewers? A last-minute draw there that pretty much spells the end for Lazio's title hopes this season, tragically enough. Meantime, a dose of the Bari Blues as well for Inter on Sunday, as their relief at Dalmat's last-minute goal was rather tempered by the loss earlier on in the game of Christian Vieri, who went off in the first half with a sprained ankle and won't now be back for the rest of this season. What a hugely fortunate team Inter are. Well, on then, viewers, to Juventus and their big game on Sunday against Perugia. Would last season's bogey side for Juve get up their noses once more? Let's find out now with Peter Brackley.
Del Piero, and then Zidane. What a glorious touch. Trezeguet! Denied by the crossbar. Here's Zambrotta. Perugia hanging on here. Well, they are beaten in 6 games, but they really should have been behind in this one. What a magnificent touch then by Zidane. Trezeguet unlucky. De Soto. Now Zidane. Again, a superb move here, worked by Juve. Good save from Mazzantini to keep them out. Really did deserve a goal. Cosmi's team under constant pressure, and the keeper came to their rescue. Juventus on the march once again. Played away by Materazzi, and it's a rare break here for Perugia. Got Pieri away down that left side. Good run too from Pieri here. Risas is in the middle. This is Risas! Beaten out by Van der Sar. A rare moment of concern for Ancelotti. Perugia almost sneaked a goal and would have done, but for the reflexes there of Edwin van der Sar. Oh, good play by Trezeguet! He has come so close to scoring. The Frenchman who's been preferred to get to Inzaghi. Juve's match winner in Perugia in January. Montero. Still Juve struggling to find this breakthrough goal. Zambrotta. Now Trezeguet. Oh, great touch. It's there! That's a fabulous goal from David Trezeguet. One he has been threatening to score throughout this match. It ups his tally in Serie A to 11. And remember, he's only started half of Juve's league games this season. This is a quality finish. O'Neill. Now Tudor. Del Piero. Oh, such a deft flick on there. Trezeguet conceded here. Well, Materazzi got back to cover when it seemed Juve would add a second goal. But Ancelotti's team not exactly cruising this game after all. Against a side who, of course, put paid to their Scudetto hopes on the final day of last season.
Well, Juve get the win, viewers, and slip past Lazio, thus into second place in the standings, keeping all the while a little life left in the title race. Well, on then to Roma's match on Sunday with Milan, a fixture this that proved to be one of the biggest events of the season. With that long-awaited third title almost in their grasp indeed, Roma's fans on Sunday descended on the Stadio Olimpico hours before the 8:30 kickoff. Many had queued overnight earlier in the week to secure their places. 75,000 was the official attendance, but with plenty of fans finding unofficial ways into the ground, the real figure was some way beyond that. something special was in the air, and it wasn't just the exhaust of 10,000 mopeds.
Diciamo di sì, forse siamo vicini al grande obiettivo che insogniamo ormai da 18 anni, e forse la volta buona, però sono scaramantico, quindi non dico più di questo. Comunque ce la possiamo fare, va bene anche così, va bene, va bene, va bene.
Io mi sono svegliato stanotte 3 volte pensando che era tardi e che dovevo andare allo stadio. Quindi,
Gratandoti o no?
quello, vai, quando si sente da te un po' sì. Sì, un pochino, però vedrai che dentro sarà bellissimo.
Against their rivals from the north, Roma certainly faced a delicate encounter. Whilst a win might seal the Scudetto, defeat would surely leave the Giallorossi barely ahead of Lazio and Juve going into the final weeks. And Milan, remember, were one of only 3 sides to have beaten Roma in the league this season, 3-2 back in January. With the scenes inside the ground more breathtaking than the old bill on New Year's Eve, let's now enjoy highlights of the action. Commentary once again from Peter.
Serginho. Can't find Comandini. Zabina breaking it up, but then giving it away rather carelessly too. Junti. Oh, chance for Shevchenko! What a miscue by Shevchenko of all people. He can't believe it either. Serie A's top scorer with 24. Way off beat here. He's got 7 in the last 6 games, but he got his angles completely wrong. Serginho taking on Zabina, and he's forced the corner too. For the Milan team, who are one of only 3 sides to have beaten Roma in Serie A this season, along with Inter and Fiorentina. Deep into stoppage time at the end of the first half. Up goes Coco. Oh, and he scored! Coco for Milan. It's only his 2nd ever goal in the Italian top flight. He's got 4 this season if you include those in Europe, and they have all come with his head. It was superbly taken then by Coco. And Roma are behind, almost on the stroke of half-time. So Montella on for this second half in place of Del Vecchio. He, of course, came on and scored Roma's late equaliser against Juventus recently. Capello hoping for more of the same. Batistuta lurking in the middle, along with Walter Samuel, who's come up from the back. Punched away by Rossi, not very effectively though. That was Tomasi. Now chance maybe Montella! It struck the upright. Very sharp there, very aware Montella. The whole line of Roma players had stayed onside. The flag was down. Rossi beaten, but rescued by the upright. Montella. Now Zago. It's all Roma at this stage. Totti. Good strike. Beaten out by Rossi. Flying save by the goalkeeper. Now the veteran performed heroics here. Now Zago. Totti's flick to Montella, who has looked sharp and lively in the second half. Candela. Montella again. Got down by Colenza, who's digging away at it. In comes Candela. Well, I think to act as a peacemaker, but all hell has broken loose now. And certainly Colenza's going to be in trouble. He was treading all over Montella. And maybe Candela too, but his reaction though was far too aggressive. And referee Graziano Cesari must take severe action here. It may well be a sending off or two. Candela certainly has been shown towards the dressing room, and Colenza as well. What was he thinking of here, the Georgian Colenza, lashing out at Montella, who did react back, and then in comes Candela, flying it has to be said. Rocca Jr. He has Serginho to his left. It was Tomasi with the block. Now Cafu. Can Roma build from here? Montella. Again, he made himself available. Away from Junti. Still Montella. going for goal. Oh, what a goal! Oh, that was a peach of a strike from Montella, and it's 1-1. A sumptuous finish, just ghosting away from Trinity. One look up, and so delicately chipped beyond the goalkeeper, beyond Rossi into the corner. His 18th goal of the season, his 12th in Serie A, and what a crucial one for Roma. Shevchenko. That can't be land again, but to no avail. Samuel stepping out. Cafu. Really has been such an open contest. Well, that was a dreadful tackle by Maldini on Montella. He's going to be in trouble. It's a yellow card for him. Well, he surely mistimed his challenge then on Montella, who did make a meal of it, I would have to say. But he sized him down. And Serginho's got involved here. He was already on one yellow card, and now he's been sent off. Presumably he's set something out of place. And they are down to 9 men, Milan. Serginho, Cafu, his fellow Brazilian, trying to placate him here. But Serginho has been shown red. No hesitation from referee Cesare. Clearly dissent from Serginho, and he is off too. It's 10 against 9. Maldini's team in trouble. Totti for Batistuta, good turn! And what a stunning save to deny him from Sebastiano Rossi. Absolutely brilliant. Great first touch from Batistuta to line up the shot. It was a wonderful save. Right at the last now. He goes Roca Jr. It came back off the post. What an escape then for Roma. It would have been a severe blow for their title prospects had that gone in. Roca Jr. so close to his first ever goal in Serie A.
Well, almost a Rocky Horror for Roma on Sunday then, but in the end the Stadio Olimpico celebrating wildly that point with Milan, because whilst the draw doesn't actually seal the title, it does mean another mighty big step towards it. Roma's lead indeed now 4 points with just 2 games left. Well, having got the top 3 in the league out of the way, time now to hear from Susie Campanale.
Coming up after the break, there'll be more from Serie A. James will be here with all the week's news, and you have the chance to win a trip to Italy by entering our Player of the Season competition. See you again in a couple of minutes.
Sport on 4, sponsored by Stepstone Online Recruitment.
Mad Professor Colopoulos is destroying the city with his quasar beam.
Now you can defeat the Mad Professor with Splat Tube action figure.
He even flies round corners.
Only Splat can do all that and taste good too.
Chocolate flavour.
Ambrosia Splat.
Top snack.
Rubbish toy.
Oi, mate, do you need any part-time help? I'm good with fish.
Push off.
When you're peckish, pick up a penguin.
Alone in the dark, can you see beyond your fear? An Infogrames game.
One day in the jungle, Granny sent me a note. I'm not feeling well, come and see me, she wrote. I look out for my friends, so I told them take care. If you see Crofty Croc, well, you better beware. As I drove off, Croc decided to strike. Set a trap for the gang and the breakfast they like.
Help us! Get a message to Coco and his grands to come and save us!
We'd rather have a bowl of Cocoa Pop.
You can help save the gang by sending a card and 3 tokens to Coco from the back of Cocoa Pops packs. And you'll get this cool Cocoa fridge magnet free.
Don't let hay fever threaten your summer. Ask your pharmacist for Claritin Allergy. It works fast and won't make you drowsy, so you can get on with your life.
There's now a surprise Tweenie toy with every McDonald's Happy Meal.
Woof, woof.
and there's one of 5 different toys available.
I bet you already knew that, didn't you?
Sport on 4, sponsored by Stepstone Online Recruitment.
Welcome back, everybody. Well, part 2 begins now in Florence with our usual overview of the week's news, viewers, after what's been another busy week in the papers. First off, stop me if I'm boring you, but we've had yet another player testing positive for the banned steroid nandrolone. Parma defender Stefano Turrisi is the latest such man of substance, the 9th, in fact, in Italy's top 2 divisions this season. Traces of nandrolone showing up in a sample of his whiz given back on the 1st of April, and like the other 8 players before him, Stefano immediately proclaiming his innocence. "I'm stunned," he says. "I would never take anything that would harm my body." Well, the secondary results from Turrisi's test tube are due next week, and if they too are positive, then the player could be facing a ban of up to 16 months. A piece of news that is currently causing panic at Parma, as having recently had all their players and the food supplements they use tested privately, the club had thought they were in the clear. Au contraire. Indeed, as Parma's Fabio Cannavaro now says, any one of us could be next. I gave a sample last week, and I'm worrying. Amidst all this, there's growing pressure on the Italian FA to introduce lighter sentences for players involved, as they're increasingly seen as the unwitting victims, really, of this whole doping saga. A reduced 8-month ban, in fact, has been proposed. The first 2 players sentenced, Bucchi and Monaco of Perugia, remember, got 16 months, their appeal against which is still currently waiting to go to court. So let's move on, bleary-eyed viewers, to item 2 this morning, and Milan's Kaka Kaladze, a man in the midst of a drama of his very own. Last week, indeed, in Tbilisi in Georgia, 3 men posing as police kidnapped Kaladze's younger brother as he was leaving hospital. A ransom of $600,000 has now been asked for Levan Kaladze, who's just 21 years old and suffers from a heart condition. The figure, incidentally, around half of what his elder brother earns from Milan each year. Now, amazingly enough, despite the news, Kaka Kaladze was on field for Milan last Sunday against Roma, although he got himself sent off after perhaps understandably losing his nerve. Now, Italy will be facing Georgia in a World Cup qualifier tonight, and there were suggestions that this game might not go ahead after Kaladze's colleagues in the Georgian national side threatened to desert the fixture unless the government helped secure Levan's release. Well, as yet that hasn't happened. However, the game will go ahead, although with Levan still in the hands of the kidnappers, it looks as though Kaka Kaladze himself won't this time be seeing action. What a terrible business. Well, with more on the international coming up in part 3 of this morning's show, let's move on now to our next item, which is goalkeeper Francesco Toldo saying farewell to Florence. Yes, Francesco, the tallest player in Serie A, has announced that he'll be leaving Fiorentina this summer after 8 years at the club. His destination? Barcelona, the lucky swine, for £20 million, a world record that for a keeper, plus a contract for the Euro 2000 star himself worth $4.5 million a season. "I'm sad to leave," he lied, "but I couldn't refuse this offer." Indeed. Well, given the massive cost of the deal, there has been some word this week of second thoughts from Barcelona, but Toldo is still confident that it'll all go through. "I haven't signed yet," he says, "but it's 99% done." Interesting. While we wait for confirmation and Fiorentina rub their hands at the thought of all that dosh, let's move on now to the other transfer news this week. Milan have signed another player from UEFA Cup Cinderella's Alaves. 2 weeks ago came forward Javi Moreno, on target twice against Liverpool. Now here comes the man who supplied so many of his crosses this season, the Romanian wide man Cosmin Contra, for a similarly knockdown price. Just £8 million the fee, Milan beating Inter and Real Madrid to the bargain. Elsewhere, Roma have bolstered their midfield with a move for Bologna's Francisco Lima. Lima, who becomes their 6th Brazilian player, is a tough-talking, hard-hitting fellow, the John Prescott of the midfield, really. Curiously, he once threatened to break Antonio Cassano's legs for being cocky. Since Cassano's also joining Roma this summer, the youngster must be bricking it. Moving on, Sol Campbell was in Milan this week to talk with Inter's directors and apparently do some shopping. As Tottenham Hotspur have revealed, the Costa del Sol is not within everyone's price range. However, after a long courtship, Inter have apparently made him an offer, which he's now asked for a month to decide on. Still, according to the papers, this is not a deal that's likely to go through. Finally, for this morning, some news of Marcello Lippi, having recently turned down an offer from Barcelona for next season. Current rumours are that our man with the Havana will be back in the saddle here in Italy come July, possibly, amazing though it may sound, for Juventus. Back in February 1999, with Juve then champions, Lippi resigned from the club following a heavy home defeat and a long-running bust-up with their directors. Since then, he's hardly shone, getting fired indeed just 1 week into this season by Inter after defeating Reggio Calabria and that famous kick the player's butt speech. Juventus themselves, meanwhile, have only just renewed the contract of their current manager, Carlo Ancelotti. Thus, says a confident Carlo himself, I will still be here next season, you wait and see, and I'm having a good old chuckle reading all this talk in the paper. Say the press themselves, though, meanwhile, Carlo will soon be laughing on the other side of his face. There's a considerable distance when you think about it. They maintain indeed that Lippi and Juve have already met. There just won't be any confirmation until the end of this season. Certainly Juve have failed to come up so far with anything like a convincing denial. Well, viewers, sadly that's where we have to leave this fascinating story, at least until next week, as indeed with the papers are rounded up. Time for us now to plunge back into the round 32 action with Peter Brackley, who begins, funnily enough, here in Florence with Fiorentina Atalanta.
Giovanni Vavasori is still chasing a UEFA Cup place, but Atalanta went behind after only 13 minutes. Nuno Gomez scored his first goal in 3 months. The Viola were coming off a memorable week after wins at Milan and Parma too in the first leg of the Italian Cup final. But the away side fought back strongly. Midway through the first half, the referee decided Ventola had been fouled, and much to Mancini's surprise, a penalty was given, which Cristiano Doni put away to make it 1-1. Atalanta were hoping to secure their first win in 7 games, but they were lucky to go into the break on level terms. Pellizzoli denied Enrico Chiesa, and Mancini was left cursing his luck again when the visitors' young goalkeeper kept out Fiorentina's top scorer for a second time. And there were many chances created in the second half. Here, Daniele Adani somehow missed the target from point-blank range. But Atalanta then stepped up a gear too. But like Adani, Christian Zanoni was also guilty of squandering a glorious scoring opportunity. Surprisingly, this entertaining match was to produce no further goals. Chiesa failed to increase his tally, having claimed 22 in as many Serie A games. And the ex-Fiorentina playmaker, Domenico Morfeo, was also denied by the woodwork late on. At the Via del Mare Stadium, the players walked out to these breathtaking scenes as Lecce's fans did what they could to lift their struggling side. A dismal run of 9 games without a win has seen the Giallorossi drop from mid-table, and now they're fighting for their Serie A lives. Lucarelli's goal drought certainly hasn't helped their cause. Lecce carved out another opening in the first half. Max Tonetto appeared to have done everything right, but Buffon's world-class save kept the scoreline blank at the interval. Still, not even Italy's #1 could stop that explosive drive from William Vialli soon after the restart. Lecce's captain struck a goal to savour. It was only his second ever in Italy's top flight. Lecce were in desperate need of some inspiration, having failed to score in their last 3 matches. Renzo Olivieri was looking for 3 points to secure Parma's Champions League place, and the visitors soon found an equaliser, albeit a controversial one. Savo Milosevic scored it, but the home side protested on 2 counts. Indeed, Lucarelli was sent off for dissent. Lecce claimed the serve was offside, and also that Miku, who provided the initial cross, had also handled earlier in the move. Lecce never recovered from that setback, and Olivieri's team went on to win the game. And Bomber's strike ensured Parma's place in the qualifying round of the Champions League, and it also allowed them to equal a club record in Serie A after they recorded their 7th away victory. As for Lecce, only goal difference is keeping them afloat. Francesco Guidolin was looking for Bologna to bounce back after their heavy defeat at home to Juventus, and his players started this game with a flourish. Renato Olive struck the opening goal for the visitors just 3 minutes in. But that was actually the first of 9 goals at this contest. Verona equalised almost straight away. Salvetti converted Otto's centre and they were level. Verona had failed to score in 6 of their previous 7 games, but they certainly rediscovered their touch in front of goal in this one. Adelton made it 2-1 with only his 4th in Serie A this season, although Bologna were desperately unlucky not to get back on level terms following an impressive strike from Signori. And just before half-time, Verona further extended their lead, thanks to Falcone's dramatic own goal. The home team looked to kill off Bologna's challenge early in the second half. And when Adelton was impeded by Gambarini, the young Brazilian was given the chance to make it 4-1 from the penalty spot. Although Pagliuca saved, Saldetti pounced on the rebound to claim his second of the game. It looked to be all over, but once Apolloni was harshly sent off after this clash with Cipriani, Bologna came back into the game. The former Parma stopper was red-carded for the third time in 6 appearances. And soon after, Carlo Nervo created a chance for Signori, who pulled it back to 4-2. The action was relentless. With 15 minutes to go, Verona were awarded another penalty for this foul on Bonazzoli. Adelton stepped aside, and the far more composed Massimo Otto beat Pagliuca. Verona hit 5 in Serie A for the first time in 16 years. Still, Signori again kept Bologna's hopes alive by cutting their deficit to just 2 goals. And in the last minute, the former Italian international completed his hat-trick to pull it back to 5-4. Ultimately, though, Bologna were denied the chance to claim a point when the referee failed to award a penalty for that clear foul on Oliveira. Indeed, Lima was dismissed for taking his protests too far.
Well, while Lima gets himself into a pickle, that amazing game brings us to the end of that chunk of action. Now, Gary Bloom will be along later on with the 3 remaining matches from last weekend, but right now it's competition time and a vote that even William Hague can win, as we ask you to nominate your top player for this season with up for grabs for one lucky viewer, a trip to Italy. Here's Susie.
Coming up, you have the chance to win a trip for 2 to a top Serie A game next season. All you have to do is make your choice for Serie A Player of the Year from these 10 contenders and give us a call on 0901 400 0747 to cast your vote. 10 runners-up will win a year's free subscription to our Football Italia magazine, published every month. So give us a call and you could join the jet set to Italy next season.
Baggio onside. He's right through here. He has to score and has. Roberto Baggio. And it's Batistuta. Magnificent. Chiesa. Oh, brilliantly done. That's an exquisite goal from Chiesa.
So confirmation of the 10 contenders, give us a call on 0901 400 0747 to register your vote. The winners will be announced in our final Gazzetta on June 23rd. That's it for part 2, but coming up in a couple of minutes, we'll complete the Week 32 Serie A roundup. You have another chance to win a trip to Italy, this time in our Goal of the Month competition, and James meets up with the Italian national side ahead of tonight's World Cup qualifier in Georgia. See you again in a couple of minutes.
Sport on 4, sponsored by Stepstone Online Recruitment.
The Evergreen Complete Guide to a great-looking lawn. Step 1. Take a container of Evergreen Complete. Step 2. Apply the Evergreen granules to your lawn. Step 3. Do nothing. That's right, do nothing. Step 4. After 7 days, admire your beautiful lawn. Go on, take a closer look. Evergreen Complete. You're just a few steps away from a beautiful lawn.
Helmet. Helmet. Your first cap for Germany tonight. You must feel like pinching yourself.
No, never before the match. It is forbidden.
One day in the jungle, Granny sent me a note. I'm not feeling well, come and see me, she wrote. I look out for my friends, so I told them take care. If you see Crofty Croc, well, you better beware. As I drove off, Croc decided to strike. Set a trap for the gang and the breakfast they like.
Help us! Get a message to Coco and his grands to come and save us!
We'd rather have a bowl of Cocoa Pops.
You can help save the gang by sending a card and 3 tokens to Coco from the back of Cocoa Pops packs. And you'll get this cool Cocoa fridge magnet free.
With its intelligent protection system, the all-new Ford Mondeo is one of the safest places to be.
Sport on 4, sponsored by Stepstone Online Recruitment.
Hello again, viewers. Now this week here in Florence, Italy's finest players and Pippo Inzaghi have been preparing for tonight's big World Cup qualifying match against Georgia. Very shortly, thus, we'll be getting the latest news from training. First off, though, we join Gary Bloom, who concludes now our Week 32 roundup with the ever more exciting relegation battle.
Franco Columba is still hopeful Regina will avoid the drop, thanks to just 1 defeat in 5 games. In fact, make that 6, because they needed just a 1 goal to beat Bari, who are already relegated, of course. The Chilean defender, Jorge Vargas, was credited with this strike after diverting Stavini's free kick past Narciso. Regina registered their 3rd straight home victory, having disposed of Napoli and Parma in their previous 2 games here. It was Marazzina who came mighty close to extending their winning margin, but no one cared once the final whistle blew. Regina are now right in amongst the pack, fighting for survival, having looked dead and buried not too long ago. It seems the relegation dogfight will be going right down to the wire, as they say. Udinese dominated this match for long spells. At times, only Francesco Mancini's goalkeeping kept Napoli in the game. Stefano Fiori was kept out in the first half, and in the second, Roberto Muzzi was also denied by the visitors' keeper. Mancini was only playing because Alberto Fontana wasn't available. At the other end, Turci also excelled on one occasion when he thwarted Amauri. So despite conceding more than 100 goals between them, these 2 struggling teams strangely produced a 0-0 draw. Brescia got off to a flyer in this one. Just 11 minutes in, Diana went down for a penalty under Del Canto's challenge, And Dario Hubner opened the scoring with his 16th Serie A goal of the season. Vicenza not only lost a goal, but their influential captain too. Zali was sent off for contesting the referee's earlier decision. Meanwhile, Brescia's captain, Roberto Baggio, looked as though he'd made it 2-0. Even Vicenza's keeper thought he'd conceded a second goal, but it was ruled out. The referee indicated that it should have been an indirect free kick. Still, Baggio soon created another opportunity, which was powered home by Jonathan Bacchini. This time the goal was allowed to stand as Brescia headed towards a victory that would have preserved their top-flight status with 2 games to spare. The away team did fight back in the second half. Camoto's strike, however impressive it might have been, proved to be nothing more than a consolation goal. Vicenza suffered their 15th league defeat of the season, which put a severe dent in their hopes for survival. Meanwhile, results elsewhere confirmed Brescia were safe. They haven't managed to avoid the drop from the top flight since the 1960s, having gone straight back down in each of their last 6 Serie A campaigns.
Well done to Brescia then, and their inspirational star, the original Mr. Mullet himself. Now, week 32 is thus concluded, but rest assured viewers, the excitements don't stop there, as with May out the way, we can now reveal a brand new Goal of the Month competition.
Coming up, we've chosen 6 great goals, all scored in Serie A during May. Get ready to take down the phone number to register your vote for your favourite goal. The winner will receive a trip for 2 to Italy for a top Serie A game, courtesy of www.rivals.net. 2 runners-up can win old-fashioned Italian shirts from the 1960s. You can win an international or a club version. And 10 further lucky runners-up will win a year's free subscription to our Football Italia magazine, published every month. So good luck. Remember, just tell us the one goal you consider the best. Goal A was scored by Vincenzo Italiano for Verona against Fiorentina. Goal B is Andrea Zanchetta's effort for Regina away to Atalanta. Goal C was this strike from Vincent Candela for Roma versus Bari. Goal D came from Stefan Dalma for Inter against Lazio. Goal E was scored by William Viali for Lecce at home to Parma. And finally, goal F came from Vincenzo Montella for Roma versus Milan. You can register your vote by ringing 0901 404 4044. If your golden goal coincides with the choice of our experts, you could be jetting out to Italy to watch a top game. Back in Serie A, meanwhile, that stalemate between Udinese and Napoli did little for either side's survival prospects. But with Verona and Regina both winning, just 4 points separate 6 teams. And it doesn't look like we'll know which 3 sides will be joining Bari in Serie B until the final day. At the top, Inter's last gasp equaliser has surely ended any remaining hopes Lazio had of retaining their title and allowed Juve to move into the second automatic place for next season's Champions League. With 2 games to go, Roma's 4-point lead should be too much for Juve to overhaul. But as the Bianconeri know only too well, anything can happen at this stage. Elsewhere, Parma's win in Lecce secured the final Champions League qualifying place for the Gialloblu. In the scorers chart, Hernan Crespo's strike against Inter pulled him level with Andrei Shevchenko on 24. None of Serie A's other leading marksmen managed to add to their tallies in week 32. Because of the Italian national side's commitments, there are no Serie A games this weekend. But for the Azzurri, it's still going to be a busy weekend. Here's James.
Thank you, Susie. Now tonight, over in sunny Tbilisi, Italy are going to be taking on Georgia in their latest World Cup qualifying match. Thus, for your entertainment, Gazzetta has dropped by Coverciano here on the outskirts of Florence this week to see the lads in training and talk to Trapattoni's latest 22 about the big game and more besides. First off, Azzurri manager Trapattoni's selection from the game sparked controversy. Now there's a change. Once again, Christian Vieri was out injured. Once again, Trapp failed to fall back on Enrico Chiesa, the current goal-scoring phenomenon down the road at Fiorentina. With the press up in arms, Trapp tried hard to keep Georgia on his mind.
Beh, noi non dobbiamo tanto lodarci di questi risultati, penso che sia il valore del nostro calcio. Io penso che il calcio italiano debba qualificarsi per andare al mondiale. Abbiamo fatto delle buone prestazioni, delle mezze non proprio esaltanti prestazioni, però abbiamo un gruppo, abbiamo dei giocatori che se si concentrano, sono in condizione, possono veramente toglierci delle belle soddisfazioni a tutti.
La bufera su Chiesa se l'aspettava, non convocato?
No, mi aspettavo la bufera su Chiesa, adesso c'era Chiesa, non c'era Baggio, quindi è normale, perché ci sono anche quelle che sono delle indicazioni, ma l'allenatore deve trarre positività da ciò che sono i programmi. I programmi quindi sono stabiliti in giocatori che finora ci hanno portato ad un passo dalla qualificazione, stanno facendo bene ed è giusto tenere almeno una considerazione. Ciò che stanno facendo gli altri bene deve essere di stimolo per loro, dimostrarlo e scalzare quelli che sono davanti. Lo vedremo in futuro.
Vabbè, ultima sì. Cosa, a proposito di Baggio, sinceramente ci vorrebbe un mezzo miracolo per vederlo di nuovo in azzurro, no?
Non lo so, dipende dai miracoli. Io sono un credente, quindi ai miracoli ci credo. Vedremo.
Naturally, among the players who were called up, there was plenty to talk about too. For a start, Fabio Liverani is back. Now, last month, Liverani attracted interest both before Italy's friendly with South Africa as the national team's first ever black player and after for his superb debut performance. The big human interest story, though, this time around was Luciano Zauri. 3 weeks ago, Zauri's career was all but over at the top level, one of 5 players suspended for a year for involvement in allegedly rigging an Italian cup match. With his conviction now overturned, less than a month later, here he was this week, celebrating with his family among the country's elite.
Sì, come si dice, dall'inferno al paradiso, sì. Certo. È stato bellissimo, mi sono trovato dentro una situazione che dire strana forse è poco. Per fortuna però ho avuto il mister che ha avuto fiducia in me, nonostante questo periodo un po' buio per quanto mi riguarda. Devo ringraziarlo per quello che ha fatto per me e come devo ringraziare la mia società che mi è sempre stata vicina.
Poteva essere prima, no? Questa chiamata per la nazionale, se non fosse per tutta la storia.
Ma non so, questo forse leggendo i giornali poteva essere, però ovviamente io di queste cose non so niente, io pensavo tutt'altro che tranne che la nazionale in quel momento.
Sì. Voi avete perso quanto? 3 mesi dalla stagione?
6 partite abbiamo perso, sì.
Sì. E
non so,
finisce così?
Sicuramente la società sta vagliando la soluzione migliore, non so certo io, magari sicuramente attraverso gli avvocati, comunque questi legali stanno cercando sicuramente una soluzione da attuare in questo caso.
Vabbè, meno male che si è finito, è stato
un incubo veramente, quindi adesso preferisco non parlare di questa situazione lì perché è stata veramente bruttissima.
But elsewhere, among the usual faces, Trapattoni couldn't help but call up Vincenzo Montella, man of the moment in the Serie A title race after his superb goal of the month contender on Sunday.
2 partite ancora da giocare in campionato, è un po' strano fermarti adesso.
Sì, vabbè, ma si sapeva, quindi ora pensiamo alla nazionale e poi c'è questo rush finale, insomma, questo campionato interminabile, ci auguriamo che si possa risolvere domenica.
Complimenti per domenica scorsa, sei veramente l'uomo del momento nel campionato.
Sì, grazie.
Going for goal, oh what a goal! Oh, that was a peach of a strike from Montella.
Vabbè, l'ha fatto sembrare facile.
No, perché è andato dentro, se andava fuori no.
On then to tonight's fixture. Now, while the situation in Georgia is currently grave, to put it mildly, on field at least the situation looks simple enough. Italy are group leaders, 7 points clear. Romania have 1 game in hand and Hungary have 2, but with those 2 sides facing each other tonight, a win for Italy could pretty much settle things. Now, admittedly, Italy's last visit to Georgia ended in a 0-0 draw that eventually led to a desperate World Cup playoff with Russia. This squad, though, have so far avoided that kind of slip-up on their march to qualification.
Siamo contenti perché in effetti nelle ultime 2 qualificazioni abbiamo dovuto affrontare degli spareggi e non erano assolutamente semplici, invece adesso siamo a buon punto e se dovessimo vincere in Georgia saremmo già qualificati.
Credo che ci siamo meritati, abbiamo fatto un bel gruppo, molto diversa l'Italia, questa Italia dalle altre.
Specificamente che cosa c'è che è diverso da questa? È più compatto?
Sì, più
amici?
No, adesso siamo una squadra, siamo più una squadra. Prima c'erano tanti bravi calciatori che però pensavano ognuno a se stesso, almeno penso io, questo è il mio pensiero. Invece adesso è una squadra unita, ognuno si sente importante in questa squadra e sa che ne fa parte impianta stabile.
Sì, la svolta quale sarebbe stata?
La svolta è stata forse tante critiche abbiamo ricevuto in Italia, prima dell'Europeo siamo stati criticati moltissimo da tutti proprio, forse lì ci siamo un attimo guardati, siamo riusciti a creare un ambiente adatto per andare a fare una competizione importante come era l'Europeo e poi è andata bene.
Well, no lack of conviction then among the boys in blue here at Coverciano this week. Best of luck to Nestor and his band of brothers in the game against Georgia. Remember to tune in next week on Gazzetta as we bring you highlights of the match. Now, meantime, the international, of course, means a rest weekend here in Italy, so there'll be no Football Italia tomorrow. At least we got an excuse this time. Plus, no late-night games on 4 next week either. Thus, we'll be seeing you hopefully in 7 days' time. So in the meantime, have a simply terrific week. Drop by our website if the mood takes you. And from all of us here, it is Arrivederci.